The previous day, I had bought a pineapple. I had cravings for pineapples. I bought a very big one, because that is what I used to eat like every day, and I buy and I eat almost alone. I eat a half. Ikiwa kuna watu wengine kwa nyumba, nyinyi mtajipanga. But for me, I eat that one. The other craving that I had was liver. I would buy a quarter of liver, put spinach and ugali. I don't fry them. I just place them on a pan and I eat alone. My name is Jane Kariuki. I'm happy to be here on this set and to talk about my journey of the bun in the oven. Journey started way back in Nyeri County, where I was born, I was raised, and I am brought up in a family that had domestic violence. And because of what I saw, I really feared to get married. I really was like, I don't want a repeat of what I was seeing in my family. And as I was growing up, I had said, I'll never get married. I would want to just become a nun, a Catholic nun, not because I am so religious to become a nun or to be in the convent, and with due respect to the Catholic nuns. But for me, I had a different purpose, a different reason for me to go to the convent, because I was telling myself, I don't want a repeat of what I'm seeing in my family. And I went on like that, and I really hated, family, because I was telling myself, if I get married, I'll get children. And I was like, the way we have suffered, would I want my child to go through the same thing? And that was going on as I was growing up as a small girl. Then I went on, and as I was growing up, then I went to school, I completed my schooling, and then I went to college, I went to the University of Nairobi, and there I met this guy called Mr. Kariuki. And remember, I had said I don't want to get married so that I don't get children. That was my thinking. And we started, like I'm a Christian. So we were going for fellowship, and this day I asked for a chance to go and give a testimony and sing a song. I went and sang a song. After I sat, this man came and asked me to teach him that song. I quickly wrote the song, and I gave him the song. I just passed the paper to him. And then, of course, we went on with the fellowship. That evening, it was a Saturday evening. And then the following day, it was Sunday, and we went to St. Andrew's Church, PCA Church in Nairobi. That is where we were having our services as students. After the service, he told me he would like me to teach him the song I wrote for him the previous night. And I did that. We went to my room, and my roommate was there, and I taught him the song. The following Saturday, the song, until he got the song. And then as we went on, then we started like every Friday when we were having fellowship, every Saturday when we were having fellowship, in the Christian Union would still, talk. Then we went on, and we prayed. We were three ladies, and we decided we wanted to pray for husbands. Remember, I had said I don't want to get married. remember, work with me, my viewer. I didn't want to get married, but now I was relating, we were friends with some 2 other ladies, and then they were really into prayer and fasting, and then they had come from a background where there is fasting and prayer if there's something that needs to be done, a major thing. So I was in the group, and they told me, Jane, we can do this. We can pray for our husbands. Then I told them, you know me, I said I don't want to get married. They said, it is okay. Even if it is not now, you can get married later. But let us keep the prayers in store. And we did that. We fasted for 3 days. Dry fast. Christians who are watching me can identify with this. Dry fast. For who? For husband. And then one of the prayer items that we had, because we would go to pray at night when everybody else has gone to sleep, from 11 o'clock, is God, stir them. Who? The people that we don't know, the husband. So God stirred 3 for me. Then the other 2 friends of mine, kila mtu akapata mmoja mmoja. And then we continued on like that. Then later this gentleman came and asked me whether I could marry him. Remember? Are we working with me? Yes, we are. I said, he proposed to me, then another one and another one, because I said for me 3 were stirred. Then I asked myself, who is who? Then later on I said, then when all the 3 came, I went again, I prayed, and I believe God gave me the best of them all. During the prayers, the 3 of us, the girls who were praying, we agreed that we will get children like the Israelites, like the Hebrew women who are not laboring when they are giving birth. And that was a prayer that really we prayed. So what happened was, we forgot about the prayer, we went on, and later on, the 3 of us, we all got married. Actually, the same year, but different months. Now, we forgot about the prayer, but all the 3 of us, we had said, we will not labor, we will not have labor pains when we are giving birth, and we are not, we will just deliver like the Hebrew women. And so we went on, got our jobs, we started working, and we got married. Now, before I even go to that, I'm born in my mom, they're born only 2 in their family. The one I'm named after did not have children. And at some point, she used to say, if we are going somewhere, she would say, I am a daughter to her, because she didn't have a baby. I remember one time I took her to hospital in Nairobi, one of the facilities in Nairobi. And as they were taking the history, she was telling me, you are mine. You're my daughter. And then I had been given to go and stay with her. And that thing that she doesn't have a baby, from Nyeri to Nairobi, I would go to visit her. The issue that she didn't have a baby was also in me. As much as I was saying, I don't want to get married, I was like, I don't want to be like my auntie, who I'm named after, and doesn't have a baby. So, I'm married now, and in this marriage, one of the things that I had an assignment, the first assignment, because of now my auntie, is to become pregnant. I really wanted, now that I've gotten into marriage, and I'll keep taking you back and forth. So just bear with me, because my story is very funny. When I was relating with my husband, and you remember I've prayed, now my fiancé, I have prayed that we will not have pain, we will not have labor pain. And because of the background of the domestic violence, I asked him 2 questions when we were relating. I asked him, will you ever beat me? He said, nikuulize nini? Sitakupiga. Then the other one, I asked him, will you be my father? He said, I can't be your father, I can only be your husband. So we went on like that, and then here we are. I am now, my first assignment, because of my auntie, I want to become pregnant. I became pregnant. And I think the first month, probably after honeymoon, I'm not very sure, but immediately after I got married, my first trimester was hell on earth. I threw up everything that I would take. And then we had a watchman, a caretaker, and he would pass through, behind our house as he's doing his duty, and he would just hear me say, throwing up. And one thing that is very common with the first trimester and the morning sicknesses, I'm preparing to go to work, I've tried to take some tea, and then he would pass there, and then I'm throwing up. And the only letter that I knew is O. Oh, you throw up like, oh. Sorry if I make somebody feel bad, but that is the only letter that I knew. I would say, oh. And then he'd pass and say, it is for a season. It's just, itapita tu. Ni hii malaria. Hii malaria umepata. Itapita tu. So, hiyo unasema hivyo, ni malaria na itapita. And then for me, I'm like, now what is he telling me? Because of what I'm going through, it was very bad. I would eat, throw up, stay for some time, eat again, because I still need food for my baby. So the first trimester was really bad. So because I was having a lot of pain and I'm throwing up, I decided to go for clinic very early, like the second month. And so they did a scan, and they told me the baby is placed in the right place, intrauterine, ako ndani. So I went on with my learning, my all that. And after 3 months, around 4 months, I'm now pregnant 3 months. I was 45 kgs. I was very light. And I was, because of the throwing up, I'm not able to retain much, and I'm working. I was carrying a lemon in my pocket so that if I feel the nausea, I just put it on my mouth, and then on my tongue, and then I would feel some relief and not throwing up. So I'm 45 kgs, that is 4 months. And I'm like, this is right. So I was told I needed to improve my feeding. And I was prescribed for what I needed to do, so that some of the things that I needed to eat, so that I can add some weight. At the end of when I was giving birth, I was 56 kgs. My baby, when was being born, the firstborn, was 3.5. That was a big baby. I know mothers who are there, and you've gotten some babies. My secondborn was lighter than that one, but that was a big baby, 3.5. So I don't want to first take you to the delivery. I want us first to go back a bit. Remember, we had said that we will not labor. We will not experience labor. So I have moved on. I've gained some weight that is manageable. I am working, and I've gone on with life. And then after around the 5th month, the morning sickness is reducing. I'm going down. It is better. It's manageable, and then all that. Then as I was going for the clinics, this one day I was told that as we go on like this, the way we are observing the baby, you might go for an operation, a CS, a cesarean section. Ile kitu ya I had said about the labor, it never came, but I was told that kind of they are preparing me. I said, okay. then I would continue on. I was going to a mission hospital, and they were so friendly. I went on. Then, when I was 8 months and 2 weeks, I was seated in the office where I work, and then I started bleeding. And before that, 10 days before, my mom had come to visit us, and she looked at me and asked me, Jane, you are saying you're about to deliver, and looking at you now as my mother, she's also, kind of like, she's looking at me and wondering, are you about to deliver? And she's like, that tummy is too up, is too high up. By this time, the baby should have gone a bit down. I'm sure I'm talking to a mother somewhere. The baby should have kind of come down. So for me, the idea that I was told you might go through a CS, it didn't connect with her. But for her, in her own wisdom, she could see something is connecting, probably behind the scenes, which she didn't know. So, Kube, my baby was a breech baby. The baby had come down, was coming down with the legs first. So that is why the part, the head, the part is like it's high. It's instead of the legs now being up, the head is the one that is up. So it's like akoju, mtoto akoju. And then that is what my mom was saying. But now later on I came to learn it is because it was a breech presentation. Then I'm bleeding. I'm rushed to hospital by our bishop because amekuja ameambiwa that Jane is bleeding. He came with the wife to our house because I went home after bleeding at workplace. I went home, and then they took me to the hospital, and he drove me like crazy. He drove me too fast. Some of us who know him no can identify. Took me very fast. I went to hospital. I was taken to hospital. When examined, I'm still bleeding, and then they examined my state, and they said I be admitted. So I was admitted. That was a Monday. The previous day, I had bought a pineapple. I had cravings for pineapples. I bought a very big one because that is what I used to eat like every day, and I buy and I eat almost alone. I eat a half. Ikiwa kuna watu wengine kwa nyumba, nyinyi mtajipanga. But for me, I eat that one. The other craving that I had was liver. I would buy a quarter of liver, put spinach and ugali. I don't fry them. I just place them on a pan and I eat alone. Uchoyo. That now when I started eating after the very serious morning sicknesses. So now this Sunday I had bought this pineapple, and then I'm going on in the hospital. They are still monitoring me. Then at some point they told me that now I must, that the presentation of the baby, it is a breech presentation, and being a firstborn, I cannot deliver normally. So I am there and I'm telling myself, I'm going to deliver normally. See, I'm going to be a Hebrew woman. I'm going to deliver normally. And then I would see other women laboring. Others are being induced. Then they are having a lot of pain. But me, I'm telling them, even me, I want you to induce me. I'm going to deliver. And then they are saying, no, your presentation you can't deliver. You're either going to kill the baby or both of you. So, but I'm like, I am a woman like the others. So please, and you know my Christian background and my commitment to God, that I'll be like a Hebrew woman. And there's nothing wrong with having that strong faith. There's nothing wrong. But if it's going to make you lose your baby and lose your life, I don't think I would advise anyone to go. But I'll come to that later. So this day, I am there in the hospital from Monday, you know. Then I'm being monitored. The fetal heart is being monitored, and they're still telling me, you have to do a CS. You have to go through a CS if you have to have this baby. Then I told them, no, I am going to deliver the baby. They said, no, you are not. So they told me that you have to sign so that you go to theater. In fact, a doctor was called, a surgeon, to come and sit with me and explain to me the state that you're in. You can't deliver normally, and we don't want to have complications, your child to have complications. We want you to get a healthy baby. I told them, you know, faith iko ndani, naambia nitapata mtoto wangu. And because we are praying with my husband, he would come to the hospital and walk and speak in tongues and pray and say, we are getting this baby. And I am agreeing. And remember, my commitment to God. So the doctor, the surgeon talked to me, and I said, no. Then they told me, then you sign that you have refused to go through a CS. I said, no. Even that one, I'm not going to do. That is stubbornness. Isn't it? It is. So I said, no, I'm not going to sign. Then they left me like that. And imagine I'm still bleeding. I'm still bleeding, and they're still observing me, and they're listening to the fetal heart rate. And so now on Sunday, my husband came to the hospital, and then we talked. I've been there. I've refused to be operated on. I've refused for a CS, and we are agreeing this. Yes, the Hebrew woman. We are not going to have this operation. Then this morning, now the Monday morning, I was called to the labor ward. I was told that the baby, they can't hear the heartbeat of the baby. So they said there's an emergency. They told me there's an emergency, and they called theater. There's an emergency. Prepare theater. We have a patient that is coming to theater. And then, you remember I had refused to sign? And then I said, okay. They put all what they needed to do, and I was wheeled to the theater. Being a Catholic mission hospital, they prayed for me. They held my hand and prayed for me as I was going to theater. And then when I was at the door of theater, I still signed the paper, the consent form, and then I got in. This is where the issue came in now. I am in theater, and it's an emergency. The baby needs, to be removed as fast as possible. So what happened? I was done an epidural. I was injected so that I was numbed from here downwards. And then you sleep like this so that you can be cut and the baby is removed. So you're numbed downwards. So juu uko sawa. You can talk to them, you can see them as they're operating you. So like I'm this way, and they're talking. So I think there's a student that was being trained, and they said, cut here, remove the baby now. So then I had my baby cry. Then they took the baby and placed the baby somewhere where I could see the baby. When they are now just kind of cleaning the baby. Then they asked me, what is it? Is it a girl? Is it a boy? I said, it is a girl. So my firstborn is a girl. So what was really traumatizing for me is that epidural. because I was hearing them talking and saying this. And I'm telling myself, then there's somebody who doesn't know their work. They're being trained. You know, I wasn't saying that students learn with people. So it is not they learn with animals, they learn with people. So, but I can hear them say, cut this, remove the baby now, and all that. So that really affected me. And I said, if I will ever get another baby, I will sleep. Sitaki kuamuka. So now the baby is born. Na nimepelekwa my room, the surgical ward, back. But that image, the mataa huku juu, the lights, I'm like, all this, and I'm hearing people talking. Of course, I'm not feeling pain. I'm numb. And then I'm wheeled to the surgical ward. And there I am. Then, saa saba, patients are, people come to visit hospitals, facilities, lunchtime, to come and see their patient. And then my husband came and found me and delivered. Through what? Through CS. And there was no labor pain, by the way. So after that, after delivery, that is when I was told that my baby was a breech baby. She had cord round the neck. I had a low-lying placenta. The medics will understand what that means. So when you have a low-lying placenta, sometimes you can bleed. So, and then the baby became distressed. My people, I was losing my baby. With stubbornness, I was losing my baby. So, but that I came to learn later, that in whichever way, I would not have gotten that baby normally, but there was no labor pain. Bado niko Muhibru. Yeah, so when my husband came, the first thing, he came and bent over the bed where I was. And instead of even telling him anything else, I asked him, do you still love me? Because I broke the covenant. Why? I was operated on. We had agreed we are not being operated on. We are getting normal delivery. Foolishness it is. Foolishness it is. Then he told me, yes, I still love you. And then, of course, I stayed again in hospital for another 7 days. You know, that time people used to, I don't know why other people stay these days even for a CS, but that for me now, the first week of observation, I stayed there for 7 days, and then these other 7 days when I had delivered. And my journey now with my baby, there were times even when I was still pregnant, especially the last trimester, the baby, I would not feel the baby kicking a lot. So I would speak scriptures to her. I would just call her the name that I had and tell her, you have to leave, and all that. So even these complications now that came up at birth, it was like this was going on, but I wasn't knowing. So when I look back, I look at it and I say, I would have lost my baby. Or if I would not have lost my baby, I would have gotten a baby that is not normal or have some special needs. But thank God, I got a baby. Right now, she's an adult. She's about slightly 30s, hapo. And I look at her. As a mother, I go back. When I was small, they would tell me that, how are we born? And I would really tell them the story. And they would really laugh at me. Why were you refusing? And then when I'm looking back, I would tell myself, I was refusing to be operated on because of what I had believed in. And then I would tell, at this point, I would like to tell girls, mothers, that stubbornness can bring a lot of issues in our families and in our pregnancies. But for me, I thank God the first baby was okay with the many things that she was having. Because the last of the complication was I had something they call meconium stain, that the baby has started eating uchafu you know, like she started eating that, you know, your maji. So it's like there is something going on, and she's it. So they can tell that meconium stain, it means there is something that is not right at that point, and the baby must be removed. Otherwise, there will be complications with the baby. So that is my first pregnancy, and yeah, so it was at the beginning a bit tough, but as we progressed on, became lighter. But you remember, I'm not supposed to be operated. I mean, as in, I don't have to have the pain, but that coupled with stubbornness, and I would call it foolishness at this point. Looking back, I would tell somebody, please, when you're advised by a doctor, do it. Sometimes people say, oh, CS is expensive. It is to save the baby. It is to save you and to save your life. So that was my first baby, and that is the journey that we walked with her. And then, remember, we were 3. The other girls also got married and got their firstborns almost at the same time with me. I started bringing this young one up, and soon, before I ever thought what is happening, I became pregnant again. The firstborn is just barely walking, and I'm pregnant again. For those that probably use family planning methods, I wasn't using any. So what did I expect? I just, to become pregnant. So, and remember, I didn't want to be like my auntie who didn't have a baby. So it's a welcome thing. And remember my first assignment again, I said, I want now to get a baby. So the first one is there. So my husband said, that is enough. You don't need to get another baby. But I said, I want another baby. I come from a family of 8, and I wanted at least to pay my mom compare. Some bit. But so now I am pregnant again with my second born baby. And this one, the morning sickness was not as bad as the first one. So yes, I missed my periods. So I realized that, okay, fine, now things here are different. And then I went on. So the 4th month is when I went for the first antenatal clinics. The same facility, the same hospital, Mission Hospital. And they said the baby is okay. Again, the placement, the scan, the ultrasound that was done, it is okay. Then I went on. The cravings for the second born were different. I would just like, if it is ugali, I love ugali even today. We have a relationship with ugali. But now for this one, it became serious because I would eat ugali almost every day. And I would only change the stew. But mostly I want to eat the greens that are not fried. They just, like steamed and then salted, and that is it. And then I eat my ugali. That I didn't throw up much, so I was retaining. But the baby was not growing as fast as the other one, was not as heavy. So if we just jump a bit, the second baby was 2.9. The first one was 3.5. So So, and this one, I'm feeding more and better than the first one. Fruits again, hiyo nayo nilikuwa matunda, I'm eating any type. Na pineapples again. Even today, I love pineapples, and they also know that. And greens. In fact, kwa mtandao niliona another day that Wakikuyu mamas, they apologize with nikuongezee greens. I saw it on social media sometime, and then my daughters were just texting me that, Mom, we will not accept apologies from the greens, because they know even today I really love ugali. So that joke, I guess some of us there, you've seen that. So loved ugali, continued with ugali. Anytime I would go to the market, I see greens. You know, it's like, I would just buy and go and make ugali, and continued on. As I was going on again for my antenatal clinics, then they started saying my baby again is not turning, the second born baby. And I went on with all my clinics, and they're saying the baby is lying across. They were saying transverse or something like that the baby is. So they said even the second one, you will be operated on. And remember, I had not much time after I delivered. I am now pregnant with the second one. So they said this baby is transverse. I said okay. I went on. I went for my clinics. I attended. I never missed any of them, and I'm still eating my ugali, and at least some good weight, not like the first one. Then it came now the third trimester. I'm supposed to give birth, but my baby, the second one, came 3 weeks before the time, because the first one, because I stayed again in the hospital 1 more week, so it was added. So this other one came 3 weeks before the term. She was term. Now, the day of getting this baby, I am in the office in Kiambu town, and a friend walks into the office, and we started chatting, and then she told me something that made me to laugh. I laughed, a hearty laughter. What happened? I broke my waters in the office. So it is like she's running, looking for the mop, the dusters to wipe the waters, because I can't bed there, and here she is. But it is coming from laughter. For those who know what it means when you break the waters, you have to go to the hospital immediately. Look at me now. I didn't. Oh my goodness. I walked from the church, from my workplace. I went to a supermarket. I bought a few things. I went to the church where my husband was working that time. I found the bishop with another pastor, and then they asked me, Mama Jerry, now since I had already gotten the firstborn baby called Jerry, they said, Mama Jerry, where do you want us to take you? It's like they were like seeing the way I look. It's like I need help. I said, I'm going to Nazareth Hospital. Can we take you? I said, no, I'm okay. Then I moved from there. Please, those who are watching, foolishness, stubbornness, wachana nayo. So I went a distance. I took a matatu. I went to my house. I looked at some mukimo that was in the house, and I said, I want to eat this mukimo. It had mukimo, and mukimo is kienyeji food for the Kikuyus. Yeah, some of the Kikuyus that I'm talking to today, they know. So I looked at the mukimo, and then there was some meat, and I'm like, I want to eat this. But a second thought told me, because we are going to hospital and you might go through a CS, don't eat the meat and the mukimo. I didn't eat. Then I came down walking a distance of like 20 minutes. I'm not rushing, I'm walking. This time I didn't take a matatu coming down. I went back to the church. Remember, I broke waters around 11 a.m. in the morning. And then I went back. I asked whether my husband has come back. Hey, husband. He wasn't there. So I started walking now towards I go to the hospital. Then one of the pastors ran after me and asked me, Mama Jerry, how are you feeling? I told him I broke the waters. He almost screamed. He said, when? He's a medical person. He asked me, when? I said, at 11. That time is past 1. He went back to the bishop. They talked. And then bishop did not talk to me. Brought his car, brought to where I was, and then just pointed at the side where I was supposed to sit. I got into the car. That time, they have called the wife of this other pastor. And then the wife was a midwife. So she's seated here and then may be at the back. So the bishop is in front, is the one driving. And then the other pastor is on this other side. Yeah, the co-driver. The vehicle is like, again. He's still the one who took me to hospital for the first baby. And now he's taking me the second baby. So this time, the vehicle was like either the speed. And then when we got to some distance in Kiambu town, we saw my husband. So he just stopped the car and then pointed the side where my husband was to come and sit. So my husband came and sat the side I was. And then we proceeded on to the hospital, Nasave Hospital. I was taken to the labor ward, hapo kwa mlango, like this. Then the 2 medics entered. Then he was left outside. Then we are with my husband now, the bishop and the pastor, and this friend who is a medical person, a midwife. So I was taken in. Remember I had said, because of the trauma of the first epidural, I would want the second one. I sleep. I don't want to hear anybody. I want to sleep. When I wake up, I want my baby. So when I got to the labor ward, they examined me. This one again had issues, transverse, and then she had meconium stain. For her, it was worse. It had turned from yellow, it was going to green, which is a bad one. And so they said immediately, theater. That one, I didn't bishana with anybody. I said, iko wapi? I signed and I was taken in. That is the time now they told me again, this one you could not have delivered this one. Also normally, it is the same way. And I got my baby. 2.9 kgs and looks exactly like the dad, that dark color. And then the wife of the bishop that time was looking at her and said she has starry eyes because she's a beautiful girl. And yeah. Yeah, so and then we left hospital. As the bishop again is the one who picked me from the hospital. He drove me pole, slowly, and he was telling me, do you know you'd have given birth on the way? You'd have given birth on the way. And I'm like, I'm not talking to anyone. So I was taken to the house and all that. Then I started, of course, bringing this other baby up. When I was pregnant with now the second one, and remember, I had just, the baby, the first one was barely walking before I got pregnant. So when I would go places, I would hold the first baby on top of the second pregnancy. Namushikia juu kwa sababu it is a small baby that I need still to hold and I'm still pregnant. So it's like namkalisha juu. And that, because they were very close to each other. Before she was 2 years, I had delivered the second one, and we went on with bringing them up. Yeah, for the second baby, the clinics, I said I started around the 5th month, around there, because I wasn't having as many issues like the first one. So this one was later. So I was going monthly. The other one I was going like, I think 2 weeks or something like that, because it was, I was having a lot of those morning sicknesses and a lot of pain I was having. But the second one was a bit relaxed, so I would go after a month, of course doing the tests that needed to be done. And since I was not I was not very heavy, I was still advised on the way to take, I mean what to take, the vitamins and the food. I was told at some point to be boiling bone soup, to be taken bone soup, so that, I don't know for calcium, I'm not very sure, but I was advised to be taken bone soup. And since I wanted to get a big baby like the first one, so I was doing that, but I never got a big baby. I got that 2.9. So the clinics for the second one were more spaced and more relaxed, but I followed them, all of them, to the end. Hey, ugali na greens for the second one was that one. The first one, you remember, there was the liver, there was the pineapple, and there was the spinach, specifically the spinach. And they are not being fried. I would come, the ugali is done, and then I put the greens, and I'm doing it for myself. I have a house girl that time, and I don't want anybody to do it for me. It's me to do it. Lest they eat my ugali. So I would place that, and then I cover it. I cover the liver, the greens, and my ugali. It steams with very little fire. The ugali is ready. So after it steams together, then I eat. And I'm telling you, I would enjoy it. Even today, I love ugali. And I think, for them, it's like, I would tell them, kuna tunyeni, there is ugali in the house. And they're like, Mom, with your ugali. I say, this is a relationship between me and ugali from you. Yeah. First and foremost, I'll go before you become pregnant. Having interacted with health professionals for quite a long time now, I have learned there's something that is called preconception care. And this preconception care is the two, the husband, the wife, or the partners that are planning to get a baby. They go to the health professional, to the gynecologist. They are done some tests that are very, very important. I understand that preconception care, they look at areas that they need to support you. It's not that they just want you to go. They want to support you, so that if there is an illness that you may be having, they can be able to know how well it can be managed even as you go on with your pregnancy. For me, I didn't go for the preconception care. I didn't know, but I would say for today, it is very important for somebody to go for preconception care, so that at that point you are asked, you are examined, there is that assessment, so that they support you. People may not see it as if it is important, because they say, I'm going to pay for the doctor's fee and all that, but it is very, very healthy, because it's going to make you carry a healthy baby, and your life also being healthy. Probably there's something that, like when some mothers are pregnant, there is diabetes, like gestational diabetes. If there is somebody in the family probably who had diabetes or something, when they take history, they'll be able now to support you. They're not just doing it for the sake of doing it, but they're doing it with a purpose to support you to get a healthy baby. So I would tell people planning to be parents, mothers, fathers, dads, it is important to start before. I understand, I think there's 3 months before conception. So you go there, you advise, so that even when you are now planning to become pregnant, you are ready psychologically and physically. Probably they can, if they realize there's something that they need to address before you become pregnant, they can address it that time. Then when you start your clinic, when now you become pregnant and you start your clinics, I've also learned that many people delay to go for clinics. They say, like, you have to stay for 5 months. It is not that you need to stay for 5 months. That advice, I don't know where it comes from, but see your doctor, see your gynecologist. Let them continue working with you so that they are ready for you. They are ready for the baby. They are preparing you. And some diseases that children may get when they are in the mother's womb or the uterus, then they are prevented. Case in point, sometimes HIV, you get a healthy baby, but are you working together with your health provider? It is very important. So go as early as you can to the clinics. It is not waste of money. It is a way of being, it's your welfare, it's the welfare of the baby. If you are told that your baby is in this condition, like my case, if you are told that you go for a CS, if you are told that your baby is breech presentation or whatever presentation that they have, just work with the doctors. And that's why it is very important. And I would stress it again. I will repeat myself. I would say, sometimes we think we are helping ourselves, but when the professional, the health providers tell you this, they are doing it for you. Don't resist. Faith is good. Doctors are good. They are there. They will treat you. God heals, even in many, many situations. We have seen sometimes people losing babies because of such sometimes lack of information or inadequate information, or what you had somebody else doing, because comparison also kills a lot and brings a lot of disaster in terms of people carrying their babies. Because you say so and so delivered normally, like I was saying, so and so, and I'm seeing other mothers delivering normally, and I would say I would also want to deliver normally, but I am Jane. I am different from Alice, from Mercy, from Zubeida, from different people. I am different. So when the providers tell you this is your package, please do that and agree, because they love you. They want you to get a healthy baby.